Hi guys! So today I'm going to be doing a video on how I keep my hedgehog warm in colder weather, and this video was requested by Noah the Kiwi, so her link will be left down below, and definitely go check out her channel because she has amazing videos. So yeah, I'm going to get started into the video. But before I get into the methods that I use in order to keep my hedgehog warm, I thought I'd just let you guys know that hedgehogs do need a little bit of a warmer temperature than most animals because they can actually go into hibernation, which is deadly for them. I did explain a little bit more on hibernation in another video. It's called Hedgehog Basic Care, and I think it's the part 2 that I talked about it. But anyways, if you are interested in learning more about that, either research it, or I could do a video on it if you want, or watch that video because I did explain it a bit more. I keep my hedgehog surroundings at around 23 to 24 degrees Celsius. Depends on if it's a warm day or a colder day. But usually in the winter it's around 24 degrees Celsius. And that's a good temperature for my hedgehog. He enjoys it like that. So the main source of heating that I actually use for my hedgehog is my home heating. I use these heating vents to my advantage because if you guys know, the hot air, when it's warming up your house, it'll shoot the hot air up. So I will usually place my hedgehog's cage, obviously on a stand, but underneath the heating vent, so when the hot air rises, it kind of warms up the bottom of his cage. It's not hot or anything, but it just keeps him a little bit warm in his environment, a little bit warmer than the rest of the house. So this actually isn't the vent that I use to keep my hedgehog warm. I tried it this winter with this vent, and it didn't seem to work as well as the one in my parents' room. So I'm going to be moving my hedgehog this winter into my parents' room because he seems to be a lot more warmer in there, and the temperature just didn't stay as suitable as I wanted it to be. So I think he'll do better in the other room. If you guys are wondering, I haven't actually moved my hedgehog into a CNC cage for 2 reasons. The first reason is that I used all my extra grids to build the second level for my guinea pig cage because it uses quite a bit at the back and like up against the wall so they don't fall and to keep it sturdy. And number 2 is that my hedgehog's going to be moving into my parents' room after when it's winter, right? So a little bit before winter, so in around 2.5 months from now. So it's kind of, I can't put the CNC cage in my parents' room because the table that they have doesn't fit that. So I'd have to move him back into the Super Pet cage. So I decided making him a CNC cage in the spring would probably be a little bit better because he'd get to stay in it more and I wouldn't have to switch everything around. So I've decided to keep him in there until spring. It's an okay cage for him because it is equivalent to around a 1.5 by 3.5 CNC cage. So it's not too bad, but I really wanted a 2 by 3. But I guess I just will have to wait till spring. But using your home heating just sometimes doesn't cut it on those cold nights. So I'll show you a few other methods that I use to keep my hedgehog warm. First of all, I would definitely suggest putting a cozy hideout of some sort in your hedgehog's cage. Lots of skinny pig owners tend to get things like these burrow bags or blankets or something for their skinny pig's cage because obviously skinny pigs don't have any fur or hair covering them, so they can get kind of chilly in the winter. So these things are really great for your pets or your hedgehog to cuddle up in because the same pretty much goes for hedgehogs since their environment can't get a temperature of too low. These can really benefit your hedgehog and keep them warm if they get too cold. So I have these 2 burrow bags, which are store-bought. This one's from Cobb Cabin Crafts, and it has some hedgehogs on it. And it just has fleece lining on the inside with a cotton print on the outside. And this one is from Piggy Pig Pigs. It's a bit larger, and it does have boning, so it stays up, which my hedgehog actually does not like. He likes to feel more secure when it falls on top of him, so he doesn't really like when things stay up. But you can buy these from online stores or whatever, but there's also other options if you don't feel like buying them. You can make them yourself. This one my mom made. And actually, I have to tell you guys, my hedgehog prefers these ones rather to the store-bought ones. This one's just made from a baby blanket, and if you can see, it's super big. And here, I'll just roll it up and show you. So this is what it looks like rolled up. As you can see, if the hedgehog is in it, it just falls right on top of him. And my mom actually sewed this for him. And my hedgehog loves this. These are probably his favorite snuggly sacks. But my hedgehog also really enjoys just baby blankets. And if you just put them in their cage like that, they get to make their own little house out of it. and burrow around in it. So my hedgehog really likes these too, but they're kind of thinner, so they're not the warmest. So I prefer to give my hedgehog one of these in colder weather, or one of these since it is fleece and it's like double layered, so it's super duper soft. Another thing that I do to keep my hedgehog warm is insulate his cage. So what I pretty much do is put towels or blankets like that and kind of line the back of his cage. You want to make sure you don't line his whole cage because then he can't get any fresh air coming in, and that's not good. But usually if it's really cold, I'll line his sleeping area with some type of blanket, but still leave a part open so we can get fresh air in. So that way when the heat comes in, it kind of traps it in there and it keeps his environment very warm. I also thought I'd mention that using some type of thermometer in their cage can be very useful for tracking the temperature, so you can make sure their cage is not too warm but not too cold and just at the perfect temperature. Occasionally I will use a heating pad as well, but that's really only the extreme cases. I try to use other methods before that one because I just don't really like how hot it can sometimes get. But if you are going to use a heating pad, make sure you only heat up one part of their cage and not the whole thing, because if they get too hot, they can move from that spot and go to a cooler spot, or if they're cold in the part that they are at, they can move to the hotter spot. But if you heat up their whole cage, it can get like really hot and really uncomfortable for them, so definitely be aware of that. One of my favorite things to use is this little guy. He's called Buddy Bear, and I actually got him when I was younger, and he pretty much is like a teddy bear for younger kids. You can warm him up in the microwave so he can stay warm, because I guess lots of kids, like, they don't want to use a heating pad, they'd rather use a teddy bear. Or you can put him in the freezer and he'll stay cool, so if they have like a cut or a bruise or something, they can ice their leg. So I use this guy for my hedgehog. It's a really awesome idea for my hedgehog because, one, it looks more appealing because it's a teddy bear, so it looks nice. And two, you warm him up in the microwave, and then I just put him beside where my hedgehog's sleeping, and it keeps that little environment warmer than the rest of the cage. So it actually stays hot for quite a while. Not hot, but I mean like warm. So I really like this. I think it's really useful for hedgehogs. I'm not really sure where you can get this, or even if you can still get this, but I'm sure there are other variations out there that are similar to this that kind of just keep your hedgehog warm in its area, but not too hot, obviously. So I really like this little guy. He's really helped me a lot, so that's Buddy Bear. But that's pretty much all I do to keep my hedgehog warm. My house is fairly warm, so I don't really need to be using like space heaters or anything like that, like separate heating systems for the room. But some people do, and I mean, I can't really give you really good advice about that because I've never used it before. But I hope this helped you guys somewhat, showing you a few other different methods you can use in keeping your hedgehog warm. So thank you guys so much for watching, and again, make sure you go check out Noah the Kiwi's channel. And I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye!